WFIU, Bloomington, Indiana, where you don't need to be an expert if you learn something new every day.
Distraction. Sometimes we hate it. Sometimes we need it. For Ernie and Jerry, where they were headed, distraction might do them some good. This week on the Ernie Pyle Experiment, when friends in need come calling, is it okay to put our own problems aside, or is it just an excuse to not look at the truth?
Hello, this is Ernie Pyle, the Hoosier Vagabond, and this is that girl who rides with me.
And I love it.
Welcome to the Ernie Pyle Experiment, Episode 9, A Desolate Corporation.
It's 4 a.m. We're home in Washington, and the phone rang an hour ago with some very bad news. A pilot is missing. Excuse me. Come in.
Sorry, haven't heard anything else.
Ernie's on the phone with someone on the hill. Don't know much yet. Oh, hey, Phoebe, is Vern with you?
He's down in Tennessee.
In town alone?
I took a job with an advisory committee on aeronautics with Amelia. You didn't hear that?
Well, I knew Amelia was doing something like that the president himself called her in.
And she didn't tell you about me, huh?
I don't remember.
That's just like her keeping the glory for herself. She thinks she can beat me on the ground, but she can't beat Phoebe Umley in the air.
I'm sure she said something about it.
Can we come in?
Oh, yes.
Morning.
Shh, be quiet.
If someone was never going to get it, my guess it would have to be Howard Stark. I just don't believe it. What do we know? Hello, Mrs. Pyle.
Hello, Mrs. Putnam.
Oh, don't you dare.
Started it.
That's risky work calling Amelia Earhart names.
Hello, George.
Hello. So, come now. What do we know?
Just that at some point yesterday, Howard took off from Wyoming, headed for Salt Lake City. He never made it.
That's it?
That's all I know yet.
No evidence of a crash, fire, anything?
I'm sorry, I haven't heard.
Hello, Ernie.
Hi, everybody. Listen, my influence on the aviation world in this town has shifted. It's a longer climb to the top to get to the bottom of things anymore.
Well, it's worth sitting at home by yourself waiting for word. At least we can feel like it used to be when your phone was the first to get the news.
Have you called the White House?
You can't call the White House.
Why not?
What does Roosevelt care about Howard Stark?
Call the White House. Tell them to get Cordell Hull's office to get some answers. Then call Claude Swanson. What do you think will happen when the president finds out I've been calling his entire cabinet? What is the weather like in the mountains there?
It's not good for flying.
It's hard enough getting through the Rockies on that angle in a clear sky.
When he started out, the sky was clear in Cheyenne. The weather was good in Utah as well. About 4 hours later, Cheyenne was having snow flurries that come over the mountain like a big wall.
He probably sat down in a clearing up there somewhere.
That's not a good idea.
As opposed to the alternative?
He'll freeze his ass off
Can
up
you
there.
imagine flying in a clear blue sky, clearing a mountain peak, and seeing that big wall of dark clouds in front of you?
I've seen that.
Me too.
Well, I saw it first.
Oh, yes, Phoebe, you were first. We all know. You were the first woman to cross the Rocky Mountains.
Thank you. It's nice to hear. Maybe you'll get a first one day, too.
Pyle. Oh, Irvy Ballou.
Irvy Ballou.
How are
Have
you?
I met him?
Where's Irvy out of now?
You'll never get him out of Florida.
How's that true when he's flying for Eastern between Atlanta and Chicago?
Oh, that's right. I always think of him as an independent.
What a swell fella. He makes me laugh. Irvy and I were having a drink once, and up comes Vern Treat. Now, Irvy is completely bald as an eagle on top, and Vern puts his hand on Irvy's head and says, "Irvy, this feels like my wife's fanny." And Irvy puts his hand up there and says, "Well, I'll be damned. It sure does."
Hello, Doris.
Doris, how are you?
Does anybody know anything definitive?
Not yet.
Ernie's on the phone with... I don't know who he's talking to now.
Irvy?
No, he hung up with him and he called someone else.
Tubby at Hoover.
What?
Probably Tubby down at Hoover Airfield. He's a mechanic. He sleeps there.
Tubby has a dozen phones lined up on a bench. They're all smeared with grease. Each line dedicated to another airport across the eastern seaboard. So we can track what's happening by who knows what and where. All the damn phones are black, so you can't see the grease. And one time I picked one of them up to make
Does
a call
anybody
and...
know Howard Stark's wife? Where is he out of?
A lot of places, dear.
Last I knew, it was Chicago.
I thought Newark?
That's a good guess.
But where does his wife make home?
Beats me.
Me too.
A lot of folk might not think it, but this is the right time to call her and make sure she knows she's not alone. Folks get afraid talking to the dead's next of kin.
Nobody said Howard was dead.
Yeah, we don't know anything like that.
Jerry, Can you tell Ernie to find Howard's wife's phone address for me?
Yes, of course.
We haven't met.
Oh, you haven't. I apologize. Please allow me. Phoebe Amelie, this is Doris Messick. Doris, Phoebe.
Nice to meet you.
Messick. Charlie Messick.
That's right.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear.
That's okay.
March of 34.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Roosevelt should have left well enough alone, I tell you.
How was he supposed to know all that would happen?
Well, it happened. I could have told you it would. Plenty of us said it would.
Please, everyone knows better after the fact.
You don't take a perfectly functioning airmail system with pilots that know the routes like the back of their hands and just let any Tom, Dick, and Harry replace them. If you do, you get 1934. That's what happened.
Ernie's asking around for Mrs. Stark's phone address, Doris.
Thank you.
What happened in 1934?
Army Air Corps took over the airmail and 40 pilots were killed in a month.
Slaughtered.
I'll be outside. Come find me when Ernie gets the number.
Nice work.
Sorry.
What happened?
Charlie Messick was one of the 40.
Later that night,
All I'm saying is that the independent pilots were doing fine, and those routes were just given to big
No, it's
companies.
baloney.
And if a guy wanted to keep
baloney,
flying, he had to
right?
join one of them, which has its benefits. You get a nice plane out of it, taken care of by someone else. You just show up
Pay
and
is
take
taken
off.
care of by someone
Yeah.
else, too. And they give you
That's
half for
the
the
other
effort
part
or
of it.
whatever they
Well,
want.
sure. It
Ridiculous.
costs money to run a company.
Which was run fine by an individual pilot before.
Exactly.
Who was
Amelia.
stealing money from the taxpayer by weighing down the
I
mailbags.
never knew anybody that did that.
no.
That's hogwash. If some
My
damn
goodness,
stuffed shirt
weighing
politician
down
wants
bags.
something, he makes up stories
Yeah,
out
it's
of
We
like
thin
all
air.
complete
heard it
thin
happen,
air.
fellas weighing
Yeah.
down bags, but I never knew anybody either.
All right, you never heard of honest pilots doing it, but they still agreed to take as much junk mail as they could.
Oh.
No,
I mean, it's honesty has a
that's not
threshold,
right.
if you ask me. It's a system that eats away at the man's threshold, and it'll change a guy if he thinks that sin won't come and sit on his house.
But it was working. A lot of pilots that were working for themselves and doing well for their effort are
Maybe,
now
but-
making a lot less.
We're all making a lot less.
Yes, but that's not the same thing. Hoover allowed this.
Companies carry the mail now when individual pilots, citizen businessmen, used to do the job just as well.
It's Washington's fault. It's dirty pool when an individual has no
Yes.
seat at the table.
Yes,
Sure.
it tells you someone is getting paid off.
Okay, so
isn't
in
getting
comes
paid off
Roosevelt to
around
clean
here?
up all this corruption, and while patting himself on the back about it, he kills 40 pilots.
That's not entirely.
There's a bit more to it than that.
I don't see it that way.
Why not?
Well, it's a mistake on a mistake on a mistake.
On a mistake.
That's what giving societal rules to industry does.
Right, so stay out of it and everything would be fine. Let it
Yes.
be what it wants to be.
Yes, we agree on
But if
something.
the
don't think you
legislation of
understand.
1925 was created for industry,
Yes.
your theory doesn't make sense.
Well, it was meant to put things in the hands of the people and not just the post
Only it
office.
turns out the people were the board of the directors of all the airways,
It's
and the
awfully
hands it took
convenient.
things from were the individual contractor pilots, right?
Right, yes.
Yeah, you can put it any way you want. Hoover still comes out a crook.
No. I'm getting ganged up on here. Hoover has nothing to do with
I start
any of
talking
that.
about Hoover and I put my hand on my gun. I'm staying out of this horsepick conversation.
If you don't
wants
think
a
Hoover
drink?
learned corruption from Harding and Coolidge, you're crazy. He was setting society up to be run as a business, handing out favors at a profit.
Come on now.
I'm
I
serious.
bet my eyesight
Let's
he was
have
on hand for
drinks.
Teapot Dome
Let's get back to the point. The idea is that private operation of society
is corrupt.
and the federal operation of society is even more corrupt, which we are
Except
seeing.
only one of them is on the side of the ordinary man.
Ordinary men run businesses.
And ordinary men run for Congress,
women
get
have
compromised by
drinks.
power and money, and become ordinary politicians making decisions against their own
I don't know
conscience.
about that.
Interesting how a man can make moral decisions for another he wouldn't make for himself.
How religions are made.
Uncle Sam, who art in heaven.
It's also interesting that such zealotry can lead to the deaths of innocent pilots. Roosevelt
such a
wants to undo
cheap
each and
shot.
every movement made by the past 3 Republican presidents. In his lunatic fever to give the federal government the control to make the model of rule, he has to upend this perfectly working order. Which he did illegally, I might add. And without democratic control of the branches, no committee would ever allowed it.
If the Hoover administration is handing out contracts to the highest bidder, then
How is that wrong?
Off mixing drinks over here in case anybody wants to
how is it
shut
a
up.
free
I'll
market
take
when the
2.
government chooses
Yes.
one airway over another? Huh, George?
Regulation should be about making institutions modern.
Republicans are the ones against regulation, George. You don't make any sense. And modernity is a concept they use to pull the wool over the voters' eyes.
Open markets make open commerce. That's the truth no matter who is involved
And
with.
who gets to make those markets is also true no matter who is in office.
Well, nobody should be making those markets.
Just said you were for regulation.
Amelia, for God's
You're an
sake.
idiot.
The flying industry came out of nowhere. Pilots made it,
Sure,
then
but
government
it's
took
not
it from them.
And when the government handed it back, it was a disaster.
How is the Army running the airmail handing it back?
What, yeah, that's true, but...
Two airways competing in an open market, and one gets a contract
But
sending the
that's
other
not
into
how
bankruptcy.
it
The
goes.
Republicans touting less government and more business is a laugh. They get their seat through democracy and help
Obviously.
themselves to all the federal powers it comes
no.
with.
Then chop at the Democrats'
Okay,
feet when the
everybody,
Democrats
shut
shut
up.
It is.
What's the point of talking if nobody is willing to change their mind?
It was the first light of morning when Doris Messick was given the telephone address of the wife of Howard Stark, the missing pilot.
And where are you now, dear? You're at home? Is anybody there with you? Just the kids? Mm-hmm. Have you called your folks? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, just as soon as we are off the phone here, why don't you call your mother? Is she nearby? Oh, dear. That far? And you were in Secaucus? Junie Baker is in Bayonne. I will call on her. Now listen, it's no bother. None at all. Junie Baker I've known for 10 years. Her husband Tom and my Charlie served in the Army Air Corps together. All right. Yes, of course. Just don't turn her away if she shows up on your doorstep. I know. Listen, take the help, dear. There's a time to take the hand extended to you. You will find a way to be grateful later. Howard is well loved. Just know that everybody here is a friend. She hung up. Will anybody drive me to New Jersey?
I think I can get you there.
I can get you there faster and Tubby Stinson down at Hoover.
I don't fly.
Yes, George, you drive her.
They are a strange corporation of loneliness and close kinship. The women of aviation who sit at home and hear that their husbands are dead. Death comes to other women's husbands too, but no people in this world are so closely linked together as the people of aviation, and it is the long and very real shadow of death that links them. When a woman's husband dies violently, the wives of the living shudder a little for themselves, though not much. And the wives of the already dead come quickly with their sympathy and their memories. I have tried to analyze the attitude toward death among aviators. I've even tried to analyze my own, for it became in time the same as theirs. Vaguely, I feel it is something like this. The pilot knows something might happen, but oh well, he's escaped so far, probably he will this time too. The wives have a greater faith and conviction of their husband's superiority. I have never known an aviation wife who didn't consider her husband the greatest pilot in the world. It's too bad when other pilots are killed, she thinks, but that won't happen to my man. He can handle any emergency. Those who have picked up the receiver and heard the awful news know better than that. Among them have been the women whose husbands actually were the greatest pilots in the world. One night my phone rang, and a hurried voice said, "What do you know about Howard?" I started to make a funny answer to the effect, that I knew a lot about him, but something in the voice stopped me. I said, "What do you mean?" "The paper says he's been missing for 17 hours out west. I can't get any information. Can you help me?" There wasn't any information. In the next few weeks, hundreds of men on snowshoes and skis, on horses and airplanes, hunted the western mountains over, but there was no trace. The missing man was Howard Stark. He's my friend. Known to many countries as the greatest blind flyer of his day. Missing. And that is aviation at its worst. Sudden news of death is like a knockout blow. It hurts and bewilders, and then it gradually diminishes. But missing, that is a torture screw. With each hour that passes, giving the screw another turn. You can't resign yourself to grief. You must hang alone by the tips of your hope, dangling, imagining, lying to yourself, waiting. The night after Howard Stark disappeared, another woman called me. "Is there any news?" she asked. "I couldn't sleep last night. All night I was thinking of Mrs. Stark and living over my trouble again." Her trouble had been on the night mail 3 years earlier. Her husband had crashed and died, half an hour after kissing her goodbye at the airport. I've been on hand many times when word of a crash came in. There's nothing romantic about aviation then. To hear pilots cussing with tears, to see women wild with grief, or dazed and dry-eyed and staring. One girl I knew was hysterical and pounded her head against the wall. Her grief never really left her. She was gone in less than a year. The doctors would say something else, but I know she died because she didn't want to live. Another night, I sat in the operations office with a woman whose husband, he'd just been burned to death. Instead of going home, she sat because at that point, sitting or going home or anything else was equally unimportant to her. She did not cry. To this day, I am proud of myself for having the courage and common sense to ask her if she didn't want a drink of whiskey. She wasn't a woman who drank. But at that moment, a drink of whiskey was exactly what she did want, and we got it for her. Almost always, the women who are left go back to where their lives entered aviation. They take their children and their loneliness back to the hometown, and you don't hear from them again until another woman of the clan knocks for admission to their Desolate corporation, and they both are in and pray for her.
Next time on the Ernie Pyle Experiment.
I had a horrifying adventure with a pair of pants.
All right, hold still.
Oh, boy, I don't think I ever had to urinate more than I had to today. I tell you, this damn zipper, maybe it's all in my head, but the more I thought about it, the more I had to pee. It was a nice suit and had 2 pairs of pants, one with buttons up the front, the other with a zipper.
How the hell would they sell you a pair of pants like
you're
this?
telling me. What is so wrong with buttons? I had never had a zipper on a pair of pants, and I thought that was hot stuff. Grab a hold of my pants at the cuffs. Now, Bill, you do the other thing. What the? Hey! You can't spit on a fella's pants like that. Told you.
Back next week with more stories from the Ernie Pyle Experiment. I'm Dan V. Prescott, reminding you that the good road never ends if you only stay on it.
The Ernie Pyle Experiment is produced at WFIU on the campus of Indiana University. For complete credits of cast and crew for each episode and to find past episodes, visit wfiu.org/Ernie Pyle Podcast. Also, find the Ernie Pyle Experiment wherever you access your media.
WFIU, Bloomington, Indiana. I am now, was before, and will forever be Carrie O'Neill. WFIU, Bloomington, Indiana, where you don't need to be an expert if you learn something new every day.
As a writer of the first person, Ernie intentionally put forth a persona unheroic. He didn't wish to be patting himself on the back as the most upright or the one with the quickest comeback. Instead, he wrote of himself as that sad sap everyone knows and little goes right for. Perhaps it was because when faced with his reality, there wasn't much to laugh about. And instead of taking care of things on the home front, it was easier to point out why everyone else should be laughing at him.
Hello, this is Ernie Pyle, the Hoosier Vagabond, and this is that girl who rides with me.
I'm staying home.
Welcome to the Ernie Pyle Experiment, Episode 10, The Zipper. Let's catch up with Jerry at the kitchen table of their apartment back home in Washington, D.C., as she shows us a new way to capture the magic of an asthma inhaler.
Okay, Jen. This is how you do it. This is how you make the best cup of coffee in the world. Okay, see this? It's supposed to pop the end off, and then you breathe in like this, and your asthma goes away. But that doesn't get you anywhere near the world's best cup of coffee. For that, what you do is you take the other end off, and a little soap paper falls out, and you roll it in a ball, like so. Pop it in your mouth like this. Swig your coffee. And down she goes. I'd make you one, Jim, but I only have one left, and I need to get to the drugstore.
What's that?
What?
What are you doing?
Huh?
What are you hiding?
Not hiding. Why are you spying?
How'd you sleep?
Fine now. Coffee?
Sure. Is anyone still here?
I didn't see anyone. Give me the crosswords.
Oh, for
Just give me the
crying.
dang thing.
You can't wait to mess everything up, can you?
Get off my back.
It's one of the finest things in all
It's
life.
an unread newspaper. Why can't you allow me this picadillo?
Not even if it were all you had.
Witty.
And you burned the coffee.
You put it on.
Yeah, but you're supposed to watch it.
Well, I forgot.
Yeah.
Road routine's different than home routine. I missed the road already.
Yeah.
Just give me the damn crossword, you squirrel.
One of the finest things in all life is the untouched, unwrinkled, unmolested American newspaper with a cup of coffee. It is a work of art. Coffee, paper, cigarette, tableau of the perfect moment in life. One newspaper per person should be a rule.
It's in an entirely different section of the front
doesn't
pages.
matter. Look.
What?
All these pages are even. They match up. What is my biggest peeve in life?
When you don't change your socks for a week?
No.
Oh, no, that's mine. Oh, the straight newspaper thing.
The straight newspaper thing. That's right. Yeah, that's right. When one of the pages is pulled off the fold because someone has to have the crossword.
Pages stick together. That's not my fault.
It is your fault.
Not when I asked you for it,
boy.
and you're holding it, and you throw it at me, and I have to put it back together.
Okay, can we just have quiet now, please?
Oh, the cacophony of the crossword.
Just
puzzle.
be quiet now, please.
How do you get a pencil on newspaper to make a noise? Could have given me the crossword right off the bat without all the gabbing.
Okay, quiet, please.
What's a 5-letter word for hypocrite? You know that was funny! Okay, I'll shut up. Sit down.
I'm getting more coffee.
Oh,
You need some?
sure.
Rolled you a cig.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Look at that.
What?
Why can't you put more tobacco in?
Huh?
Why would you roll me one of these pinners you make for yourself? I'll be lucky to get one drag out of this without burning my lips.
Well, don't say you want one when I offer.
But you said you rolled one for me.
I did.
You know I like more tobacco than this.
So
well,
what?
Sounds like you rolled two for you, and when I offer you another cup of coffee, you wanted to return the favor.
So isn't that what marriage is?
Making the other person into you, I guess it looks that way.
Don't smoke it then.
That isn't the point, dear.
You go through tobacco 3 times the rate I do. It's just like, I like it when there's more at the end of the pouch.
That doesn't make sense.
It does to me.
Listen, let's have a nice evening home alone tonight, right? What do you say?
Really?
Who'd you invite over?
The usual.
You think it's early enough to cancel?
I guess. Folks know we're in town.
I know. Maybe we can get another word out to the usuals. I'd like to get some writing done.
Okay, I'll get you some space.
I like the sound of that. And what do you say let's lay off the sauce?
I say you probably should then.
I feel like I can't even bring up. Why do you make it that I can't request?
Well, you can request anything you like.
There's too much, Jerry. It's too much riding on every word. All this talking about nothing. Walking on eggshells, trying to get here to this point where I tell you to stop. You have to stop. Stop drinking. Stop the pills. Stop buying those damn inhalers. Stop this darkness. You stop getting in my way.
Chris!
Later that evening, in the kitchen of the old Pyle speakeasy, Ernie and a friend discover that the inventor of the zipper hadn't yet worked out its kinks.
Don't move! Don't move!
Got it. I can't see your hand is in the way.
Shh! You hear that?
No.
Feel it?
No.
Ah! Lost it. Damn it.
Try again.
All right, hold still.
Oh, boy, I don't think I ever had to urinate more than I had to today. I tell you, this damn zipper, maybe it's all in my head, but the more I thought about it, the more I had to pee. Oh, I felt something.
No.
No, shoot.
How the hell would they sell you a pair of pants like
you're
this?
telling me. What is so wrong with buttons?
All right, pull.
Shoot!
Someone's at the door. Get the gin out, Ernie.
I thought you put the word out.
I did. I bet that porch load is from your office.
Oh, you're probably right.
Bought some gin anyway. They're here, so coming.
She had a couple, had she?
Oh, well, yeah. She's just happy to be home.
1, 2, 3, and now!
Oh, very good, very good. Now, if you'd be so kind as to never do that again.
No, come
Oh, boo yourself. You think I'm kidding?
Pyle, I didn't know that Bill liked you in that way.
What way?
Hey, Pyle, why is Bill clamping your bird with a pair of pliers?
Don't worry about it, Polly.
Hey, Pyle.
Hey, shut it, Polly. Put a drink in your mouth.
Will do. Where is the booze?
Sounds like he's already had a few. All right, Bill. Let me stable myself here. I'll get a good grip on my belt, and then you pull downward.
Hey, y'all, come watch this. Nope. Won't work. We need something like a claw of a hammer.
Yeah.
I can jab the tab down there so it won't slip.
It's a good idea. I don't know if I have honey,
Yes, dear?
do we have a hammer?
In the kitchen. I use it on the dishes.
Polly!
What?
Stick that thing up your kazoo, would you?
Sorry, Pyle,
Hey,
but once I
like-
start, I can't get that damn song
Tell
out of
me
my
about
head.
it. I've had it in mind since
about
last
this one?
February. I have nightmares about it where it's playing. I can't find a road out of Ohio.
Oh,
Hey, Polly, not even Sousa. Don't play Sousa
Don't
at all.
Sousa.
going through the holidays. Christmas already?
Oh, boy. Polly, get that out of your mouth and get over here and grab a hold of something. Grab a hold of my pants at the cuffs. Now, Bill, you do the other thing.
What's so wrong with Ohio anyway,
What's wrong
Ernie?
with Ohio? Seltzer, Saunders, Burkholder, Matson, and Grote. Heave!
Burkholder's trying to get me fired. The tab bent. So, got something against the Indians pitching staff? do
Yeah,
ya?
I wish. No, they're the editors of the 5 Ohio Scripps Hour papers, the Big 5.
Okay, put your zipper up against the table. I'll whack it back straight.
I'll whack it. Give that hammer.
Oh, the hell you will.
We take turns whacking it?
I'm gentle. Don't move. So, you don't like these editors? Okay, same positions, everybody.
Oh, they're fine fellas, but they write telegrams every week asking for me to come back. I'm sick of it. Okay, heave.
Damn, bent again. It's a compliment if you ask me.
Yeah, be nice to be so wanted.
You fellas can't let a guy complain.
Aw, woe is you.
Well, whenever I get to Ohio, I drive straight to the center of the state. That way, whichever direction I go, I'm
Hold
leaving
still.
Ohio.
Let me get down here. Have you tried this yet?
What? What the? Hey! You can't spit on a fella's pants like that!
Well, would you look at that?
Told you.
Step back. I'm never putting these on again.
You're just gonna be walking around in your underwear now.
Yeah, who says I have on any underwear?
Whoa! Don't lift your shirt tails. I believe you.
I'm gonna throw these pants out the window. Who wants a drink?
What the hell? Hey.
Hey, what's the big idea?
If he isn't wearing any pants, I don't know why I have to.
I'm with you.
It's cold.
I ain't wearing pants. Nobody's wearing pants around here. I'm not wearing pants either.
These wool bridges make me itch anyway.
Feels good.
Boy, everybody keep your pants
so
on.
free.
Watch out for the Hoosier moon.
What?
The very next hangover in the Pyle kitchen.
Coffee's hot. Best cup of coffee in the world.
Just the coffee, thanks.
I already took the crosswords out, so don't shackle your hackles.
Jeez Louise, can't you get your own newspaper?
You just consider this one is my newspaper? Now you're messing things up according to how I like to disturb the perfection of such a work of art.
Oh, boy.
That's right, old boy.
Is anyone still here?
Yes.
Who is it?
It's 2 people?
Who?
No. It's 1.
Okay, who?
I don't know. They're under a pile of coats.
Who left their coats?
Maybe it's just a pile of coats.
Who would leave their coats? Go kick it.
Kick what?
The pile of coats.
You go kick it.
We can't have anybody sleeping over here all day.
Why not? They'll just be back for cocktails anyway. It's Saturday.
Can we not have everyone over again tonight, huh?
We're not going to be in town much longer.
What difference does that make?
Okay, grumpy.
I need to ride.
Well, you could have written last night. You brought Bill home with you.
Well, what about everyone else? You're supposed to tell everyone we were having the night off.
I did. Everyone that came was from your office.
I know, I forgot.
Well,
all right, let's try again tonight.
what do you want to do?
Let's just drink water, stare at each other. You need a night off.
I'll tell you what I need and don't need, thank you.
Give your liver a break.
Give your armpits a bath.
Hey,
Hey yourself.
I can deal with you drinking too much on the road.
What do you mean too much?
Here, everyone knows who you are.
So what?
Okay, well, they're concerned about you, only they don't tell you about it, they tell me.
Oh,
then I sit on it with my
please.
conscience all day. It takes up some very valuable space up there. I'd rather be thinking about story writing.
Don't.
It's true.
You're just trying to pick a fight.
I'm just trying to tell you how I
Go
feel.
get your typewriter and start writing, you time waster. Don't put your being a lazy do-nothing on me. You drank just as much as anybody last night, you pacey fop doodle.
Let's just take a night off, shall we?
I'll be the judge of that.
So here we are again.
Here we are. What are you staring at?
Go tell that pile of coats to go home.
It's nobody.
Who left their damn coat?
It's not coats.
What? What is it?
A pile of pants. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I'm running out of ideas.
Go on then.
It's about nothing. I'm not sure it's worth the space.
I'll tell you what's worth it or not. Just read.
All right. I had a horrifying adventure with a pair of pants. It began out in St. Paul when I bought a new gray suit. I bought it there because it was in St. Paul that the bottom fell out of my old pants. And because I like to show off as a much-traveled young man and say casually, "Oh, yes, this tie came from Germany, and I got this green sweater in Portland, Maine, and these gloves in Knoxville, and my white socks in El Centro, California, and these shoes in Indianapolis, and this gray suit I picked up in St. Paul." It was a nice suit and had 2 pairs of pants, one with buttons up the front, the other with a zipper. I had never had a zipper on a pair of pants, and I thought that was hot stuff. The super salesman clinching the deal said, "This is one zipper that works, too, and don't you forget it." So I bought the suit and was measured for alterations. I picked up the altered suit that evening and left St. Paul early next morning without trying it on. They had it altered all right, but they altered it down to the point where I couldn't get into it. It cost $6 to have it altered back up. But the real story is about that zipper. It never did work very well. It ran like a cog-wheel train off the track. It made a ripping noise, and you had to pull with all your strength to get it up or down, and it kept getting worse. One day, when I put on the suit after it had come from the cleaners, it took me 5 minutes to close the zipper. That should have been sufficient warning, but my mind was on other things, so I went downtown wearing those pants. During the morning, I had occasion to work the zipper, but it wouldn't budge. I yanked and I pulled and I tugged, but no go. I pulled so hard that the little metal tab cut a gash in my thumb, and I had to go and wrap it up. Finally, I had to call for help. An ex-football player on the Washington news staff managed to get it open by wrapping a handkerchief around his thumb and bracing himself while I pulled up on the top of the pants. By that time, I was thoroughly alarmed, and I kept within calling distance of aid all day. It happened twice more before evening. I had to get a government clerk and then a fellow in a garage to help me. When I got home, I decided to get out of those pants right away, but I couldn't get them off. The zipper wouldn't move. We had a dinner guest, a great big fella, and he thought he could zip the zipper all right. He was just a fool. He couldn't even get it started. He cut his thumb on the metal tab and got mad, and I got mad. And I don't know what might have happened if I hadn't thought of the hammer. I got the hammer, had him slip the claw over the tab. Then, while I pulled up the pants with all my might, he pushed down on the hammer. Sort of worked. The zipper came open about half an inch at a time. We were going along pretty good when suddenly the metal tab collapsed under the strain and bent up in a half circle, and the hammer claw wouldn't stay on it. From then on, after every heave with the hammer, I'd have to work the tab up over the kitchen table, and he'd hammer it down flat again, and well, we got the zipper open in a little less than half an hour. I didn't put on the other pair of pants, the one with the buttons. Didn't need any dinner either. Didn't feel like dinner somehow. I just went to bed, turned out the lights, and lay there with my jaws clenched, staring at the darkness. After a while, I went to sleep.
It's perfect. Don't touch it.
You think so?
Sure. It's about a guy wrestling with something that should be so easy to pin. But he doesn't have the wits.
That right?
That's right. Cheers.
You okay? I guess you didn't like it then?
Oh, I like it. Just took a sip of this water, and my tongue didn't know what it was.
Next time on the Ernie Pyle Experiment.
This interview in the Olive Hotel.
Yeah, it was a nice hotel. We were up in my room working on a few bottles of beer after dinner.
It was Sherman Stevenson. He was in line yesterday for relief. 2 months ago, that man owned 800 head of cattle.
I can't imagine.
It don't skip anybody.
Started about 100 miles from the eastern border of the Dakotas and extended all the way to western Montana.
We can't let people die.
Well, I hope not.
That's our main concern at the RA.
Congress is pushing mighty hard to kill the relocation administration right now. Everyone thinks it's too socialist, even the liberals.
You became accustomed to dried field and burned pasture, day upon day, driving through that ruined country.
I can get you set up in a house.
We're the stayingest fools in Powder River country I ever saw.
Back next week with more stories from the Ernie Pyle experiment. I'm Dan V. Prescott, here to say the good road never ends, if you only stay on it.
The Ernie Pyle Experiment is produced at WFIU on the campus of Indiana University. For complete credits of cast and crew for each episode and to find past episodes, visit WFIU.org/Ernie Pyle Podcast. Also, find the Ernie Pyle Experiment wherever you access your media.
Someone just sent this to me. What is this? Tick-tock.
I'm carry on and on and on. I'm carry on and on.
Apparently, I'm trending, as they say. WFIU, Bloomington, Indiana. I'm Carrie O'Nanan. I'm carry on and on.
And on and on, on and on.
I carry on and on.
Go on and on ad nauseum.
I'm carry on and on.
On and on and on and on.
I'm carry on and on.